This time out, we're going to add the lower yard tracks, this area right in here. And I'm only going to add these 4 tracks. I'm not going to worry about this because I'm not putting in the turntable on my layout, and it's pretty obvious how to put that in. Now what we're going to do in this video is pretty much a rehash of what we've done in other videos. Now those of you who are watching the videos in sequential order are going to say, well, man, why do we have to look at this again? But if you're like me with educational videos on YouTube, I have a tendency to hop around. I look at the title and say, oh, this is interesting. This is what I want to see. And I skip some of the others. So for those of you who are skipping around, I'm going to show you how to put the track in. I'm also going to show you the sort of quick and easy way to put the track in. I say sort of because you actually have to do preparation work on another drawing, but it does make doing things like this a lot faster. So let's get started here. Now the first thing we want to do is we don't want to affect anything out here. So we're going to come over here and we're going to make sure that we have those layers locked. So let's lock that one, and for right now we're going to lock this one. And you'll also notice that I added another layer here, and that's for the lower yard tracks, this section right here. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to lock my benchwork layers. Now on my railroad, the main line track is spaced 2 inches apart, and my yard trackage is going to be spaced at 2.5 inches. So we're going to put in this piece of track right here. So we're going to start by adding this track here, and you can see that I have already added this ruler here, looking at the 2.5 inch spacing. So let's come over here. We'll select this guy, and we're going to add a parallel flex. Now we want him to be at 2.5 inches. And above the existing piece of track. So there's our first yard track. And we're going to build off of this piece of track and another piece of track we're going to add up here. So let's go get that one. Get our flex, drag it down, put it in. Now you'll notice that it's going off from the drawing. And I'm not going to let that worry me because I want these tracks to be parallel. All of these I want to be parallel. Now, if you have another track plan and it's going off like this, then you would add a small curve up here just before the switch that we're going to put in. So let's go get that switch. That's going to be a number 6 left hand. And we're going to need a bunch of those. So let's get this guy, and we're just going to spin him around. Come over here. Let's look at that angle. And we see that angle is 91.87. Now you'll notice it's grayed out, and the reason it's grayed out is because I locked this layer. Normally I would come up here and I would copy this and then paste it in. So since this layer is locked, I'm just going to use my faulty memory and go up here and put in 91.87. Now we'll drag this guy down. And what we want is we want him to line up with this track and this track. So let's zoom in. Do the initial alignment like this. It's looking pretty close. And then we'll come over here. We're going to turn off our main image. Go to center line. And try and line him up here. That doesn't look bad. It looks like we're a little off here, doesn't it? So we're going to move him this way. That's not looking too bad there. I think we'll give that a try. So let's come over here. We're going to select that piece of track. We're going to cut it right there. Remove that annoying connection point. Pull that out of the way. Let's connect these guys. And let's see what we've got. We've got a minimum radius there of 412 inches. That is not bad. Let's go grab this guy, drag him back, and let's see what we got. We've got a radius of 5,662 inches. So this is looking pretty good right here. So let's zoom out. Now let's just go grab this guy, and this guy. And we're going to copy them. Come up here, we're going to paste them. We'll grab this. We'll put that on there. And let's come down here and let's look at our center line. And we're really, really close. We're off just a tiny bit there. I can do another control paste. Put that in. Let's drag this guy up. Again, we're really, really close. Let's get our image back. Let's get our track back. Now we want to put in this last piece of track here. So what we'll do is we'll take this and we're going to add another parallel. I'm just going to guess where to cut this. I'm going to cut it right about there. Let's see what we get. Take this. Oh, didn't want to do that. Take this end, pull it down. It says 67 and 3/64 inch radius. That's looking pretty good. Let's smooth it. What do we get? 73. So we could actually cut this back a little bit more if we wanted to, but I'm not going to do that here. There's a quick and dirty yard. Well, it's not too dirty. Now, you could always be a little bit more precise. Now, you could come over here, and this one has a little bit of curve into it. You could make this straight and then do what we did before. Copy this all the way across. But when you start putting down your track, unless you're really meticulous, it's always going to be off a little bit. But this is, this will give you a really good starting point. Now, I've talked about my pre-built entity drawings before. So let's go grab that guy. And I just happen to have a pre-built entity here that looks an awful lot like what we just put in. It's a number 6 left hand with 2.5 inch track spacing. And I've worked this out, and I've worked this out very carefully using the grid. And if I have one of these, I can come in and I can grab that. Or I have sections from that. I have my number 6 switch with the proper spacing track right here. So let's grab that guy. We will copy him, go back to this drawing, and we will paste him in. And there he is. Now, if you look at this piece of track here, and this is the one that we did real fast just by lining it up with the center lines. We've got a piece of track 3 and 19/32 inches long. This one, which I have done very carefully, comes out at 3 3/4 inches. So that means the difference is only 5/32 of an inch, or 0.15 inches. So it's not too bad. But if I do have these, I can do this. Let me reset the drawing quickly. So what I did is I took out everything that we just put in. I can come up here, I can copy this one, come down here, I can paste it, drag that over, put a switch there, copy this and this, paste it, paste it. And you'll notice these are straight pieces of track, so it's actually diverging a little bit more, but we're going to end up okay here. So we'll take this guy, pop him into place. Let's grab another one. Let's cut him. I wish we could do a cut without the connection point. And I'm going to keep mentioning that, because it would be so handy when you're doing something like this. Just save you a step. And let's put this in here. Let's lose our image. Let's go to center line. Let's zoom in and drag our ruler. And look at that. 2.5 inches on the nose. And then for this piece of track up here, we can just drag that up a little bit. I got 26-inch radius. I can live with that. So with my pre-built entities, I know that this section right here is going to be 3 3/4 inches, and that gives me proper 2-inch spacing. Now I'd like to point out that this 3 3/4 inches is only going to work with the Walthers Code 83 number 6 switches. If you're using number 4 switches, Walthers, you're going to have to change this. If you're using another manufacturer, more than likely, you're going to have to change this. So this is only for the Walthers. And another thing is, as I record this, all of my switches are still on back order. So I'm designing this with the pre-made element in AnyRail, and I'm hoping that drawing is accurate. The entity may have some discrepancies, or maybe the Walthers track has changed between the time the entity was drawn and the time I get my ordered switches. So if that's the case, I'll have to come back and I'll have to change the drawing just a tiny bit. But that's no big deal because that's what the CAD program is for. And as they say, that's what makes model railroading fun. So let me show you a little trick here that I learned. Now, right now I have my 3 pieces of track lined up like this. But let's say that they are at different lengths. Now, I would like them all to end on one line. Let's put our image back in. Let's go back to track. Now I could always grab them and then line them up by eye. But there's another thing you can do. Let's get a little working room here. Let's drag this up. And let's put in a line. We're just going to put a line in like that. Now with a line, I can't rotate it like I can track. I can't go grab an endpoint. If you look up above, it just has the XY coordinates. I can't set an angle, but I can rotate a line by using that. So what we'll do here is we're going to go look at this endpoint right here. And we're going to see it's at 101.4 degrees. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to grab my line. And I'm going to rotate that line 101.4 degrees. And I made it rotate counterclockwise. I used a positive number. So this end over here shifted down this way. And I'm going to hit OK. And the other thing I'm going to do to this line is I'm going to make it a little wider. I'm just going to make it 1/8. And to help my old eyes, I'm going to make it a color that I can see. We'll make it orange. And I'm going to drag it up here. I'm just going to put it like that. And if I zoom in, I can see the endpoints of my track there, and I got pretty close. And I can come down here, I can grab this guy, drag him down, and put him on there. And now I'm pretty sure that all of my track endpoints are at the same point. Just a little handy thing that you can do by using a line if you want to align something to something else. And we're done with that, so we'll make him go away. So just for the heck of it, let's come over here. And let's put this piece of track in real fast. So I'm going to grab a piece of flex. Bring him up here. We'll cut him. Not going to say anything about the connection point this time. I'm going to be nice. Drag him over here. And let's line him up on this. And actually that looks pretty good. It looks like we're pretty close. And besides, you know, this is just an example building on the drawing. Who knows what building is going to be out here. So let's take another piece of track and let's put him here. And we're just going to fold him down by hand. Now you can see the red coming in like that. Let's stop him right about there. And if you look down at the bottom, as I'm moving it, you can see the radius, the minimum radius. So let's stop him right there. Now we're going to go grab the handles. And we're just going to play with them until we get that red out of there. and we've got a fairly nice radius. And right now we're looking at 29 and 61/64, so almost 30 inches. Now we'll go over here, grab this end, stretch him out, and let's cut him right there. We'll drag this end back, and we'll connect him up here, and we'll say smooth flex. What do we got? 46 and 53/64. So that makes a nice little track coming into the siding right here. All right, let's look at the whole drawing. Let's see what we've got. Looking pretty good right now. I think in the next video we'll put in this track over here. There's a lot of cutting and filling and the fiddly bits that we have to do to get this in. So we'll see you next time.